Yo, Bingers, welcome back. Thanks for clicking. If it's a two for Tuesday comic review, and starting out first here, we got on the left hand from August of 1980. We got the Defenders number 86, Quiet Riot in Times Square, with a special guest appearance. You can barely see him in there, the Black Panther. You see, we got the Hulk and Hellcat. All right, so what's going on in this one? Let's start out here. The Left Hand of Silence, and we got Ed Hannigan as our writer. Don Perlin is our penciler. Pablo Marcos is our inker. M. Higgins is our letterer. B. Sharon is our colorist. Alan Milgram is our editor. And Jim Shooter, it says there, is head honchos. Look, Higgins. Higgy Pop. All right, so what's going on in this one is Valkyrie's flying around looking for this piece of stolen Wakandan technology. And she's having issues dealing with being Valkyrie living in modern 1986 New York. And then we cut back here. Black Panther shows up at What's His Nuts' apartment here. And it basically explains how this technology works. It like silences, it cancels out all sound within a certain radius around it. And then we cut to this evil guy here, and he actually has a technology, and he shows how it works here by squeezing the dog to make it yipe, and then he turns it on, and we get ads. And then he turns it on, and you can't hear the dog. So he wants this guy to, I don't know, sell it for him, whatever the hell. And he ends up, turns it on and shoots him, right? Because no one can hear the gunshot, and runs away. Because no one can hear any alarms or anything go off. But he ends up getting hit by a bus. And the thing goes flying and gets picked up by this cabbie, and he's just driving around randomly. And the detector, the Wakandan technology detector, only works when like it's on. So like so these guys they like detect where it was on last, but then it goes missing again. Meanwhile, Valkyrie is hanging out with Bruce Banner here in Doctor Strange's castle or whatever the hell, and they tell him, why don't you go see a movie? And he's like, no, that would be a bad idea. What if I turn into a Hulk? And like for 2 panels, Doctor Stranger's up and like, dude, get the hell out of my house. Go see a movie with this hot blonde chick. So they go and see a movie. Meanwhile, it cuts to this mandrill dude who's like this pretty badass ape looking guy with all these hot chicks around him. Turns out he can like control them with his mind or whatever. And he's got this back plot going on. Meanwhile, the cabbie dude, look at all this noise. That had to have been fun to draw. He's got all this noise in this crummy apartment he lives in. He turns the gizmo on. It cancels out all the sound, but then he falls asleep with a cigarette. And he can't hear any of the fire alarms going off because he has the gizmo on. And that's how Black Panther and Hellcat are able to figure out where he is. But he ends up, running out of here. Look at the dude's on fire. And he falls, and the thing falls out of his hands and thumps down the stairs. And now the kid's got the thing. So it went from like the first evil bad guy who was hurting the dog. And then he got shot, and the other bad guy took it. And then he got hit by a bus, and then the cabbie took it. Now I look at him. He's a flaming corpse here. Black Panther ends up going around and saving all these people in this low income apartment complex, whatever you know what I'm trying to say. And Hellcat's there to help him along and gets everybody out there. But ends up the kid finds the thing, and now the kid's playing with the thing, banging it on the fridge. And she kind of figures out that it can cancel out noise. So she turns it on the subway. And like people start freaking out because nobody can hear anything because it cancels out all sound in a certain radius. So then the homeless guy knocks it out of her hand and gets picked up by this other homeless lady. And she gets off the subway, and everybody's like running after her or something. I don't know what's going on, why they would be after her specifically. But people are freaking out. And where she got off at the subway, lo and behold, is not too far from where Valkyrie and Bruce Banner were at the movies. I can't remember if they say what movie they went to go see. It was like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs or something like that. But Valkyrie, the pandemonium ends up swelling up their way. So Valkyrie grabs her invisible sword that is always by her side. And turns into Valkyrie. Meanwhile, oh no, Bruce Banner turns into a Hulk. There's a riot going on, and there's the Hulk crashes through the wall. There's the homeless guy and the homeless lady. They think gets knocked out into the storm drain here. Black Panther and Hellcat show up. Go, oh wow, look at this. There's the Thing eating Hostess fruit pies on the other side of New York. Meanwhile, Black Panther tries kicking the Hulk in the face. That don't work out too well. He crashes, smashes. Hellcat ends up finding the Wakandan piece of technology and turns it off, and the sound comes back, and everybody kind of calms down and stuff like that. But Hulk decides that he's leaving the Defenders forever, and so he takes off. And and there's Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible One helping do crowd control as a little guest cameo. And the next is a search for the Hulk. Okay, and that was that there. Pardon me. Next up, we got... Now, I'm a little confused like exactly what this title is, because it isn't All-Star Squadron. It's the Legendary Justice Society of America in All-Star Comics with the Super Squad. Number 63 from December of 1976. And there you go. Solomon Grundy will smash you all, puny humans. And then the Injustice Gang will take over the world. You dare not miss the death of Dr. Fate. Or what about the fate of Dr. Death? Huh? All right, what's going on in this one as we start out is the Fiddler. I wonder if he ever teamed up with the Riddler. The Fiddler is there, and he's playing this music. Oh, hold on. We got to do real quick. Roll call. Hawkman, Wildcat, Power Girl, Superman. That's the old school Superman with the white in his hair. Old school Flash, old school Green Lantern, Star Spangled Kid, Hour Man, Dr. Midnight, and Dr. Fate. And credits are Paul Levin, writer, Keith Giffen, and Wally Wood, your artist, Joe Orlando, editor, and aided and abetted by Carl Gafford and Ben Oda. And the death of Dr. Fate. So the Fiddler's playing this music, which is controlling Wildcat, and he's beating the heck out of Hawkman here. Just knocking them all over the place. Solomon Grundy is just standing there watching at this point. But then Hellcat really, oh no, I beat the hell out of Hawkman, and the Fiddler is celebrating, but he's able to Catman, what's his name again? Wildcat. Because Hellcat was in the other comic, and we got kind of like a Hulk stand-in with Solomon Grundy, or was Solomon Grundy first? You tell me. But anyways, Catman gets pissed off and was able to get to the Fiddler in time and beats the hell out of him. But then Solomon Grundy's like, oh yeah, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. So Wildcat is all jumping around trying to use his acrobatics, but Solomon Grundy just bashes the hell out of him. And then the Green Lantern shows up and eats a fruit pie. And then we got an ad here for... We'll get back to that in a little bit. But anyways... Cat Dude's getting the crap beat out of him by Solomon Grundy. When at the last second, Power Girl shows up. And there's old school Superman as well. And they just pick Solomon Grundy up and fly him away and drop him into a volcano. And then all of a sudden, Hawkman's fine, even though Cat Dude was just beating the hell out of him and he was unconscious and stuff a second ago. He got up and got the Dr. Fiddler dude. Dr. Fiddler. Hey, there's a new character. But you notice how Hawkman doesn't have any bruises or anything on him like that. But anyways, they take the hell off of there, pardon me. And there's Superman being all cool. Meanwhile, in Egypt, this is a pretty neat way of how they show them where they're on the globe. Old school Flash and Green Lantern are flying around, or, well, kind of hanging out in the desert. And they check out this dude flying a winged horse. And that's like the little B plot for that point. Meanwhile, Dr. Fate is doped up, dying or something. That's a Simpsons reference, if you get that. And Dr. Midnight and the Hour Man. Look, I'm the man of the hour, and I'm telling you, Dr. Fate's hour is over. They're trying to rescue him, but he ended up... Come on, focus. He's pretty much laying down in the little hideout here, dying. And it makes... Dr. Midnight want to give up. They do the old classic hang up the costume hanging from the thing. I got to make you think of the Spider-Man from the trash can. I don't know if there's one or two other classic ones like this. But anyways, there's this evil monster shows up. I guess he was like from the last issue. That's why Dr. Fate is dying. And he's got a, I don't know if it's Hawk Girl, Hawk Woman. Come on, focus, you thing. More humans to challenge Xanadu. How foolish must Xanadu defeat you again and again, or will you ever learn to bow before the Chaos Lord? He's the Chaos Lord. But there they are fighting him. And the hour guy flies up. Has no effect. He's got a force field. He zaps him. But then the Star Spangled Kid does like a reversal power attack, and he is this guy Xanadu, and he ends up flying down, crashes, of course, where of all places, into their secret hideout. But he starts, prepare for your death, mortals, and for a scream that will be heard around your puny world. But then, in the streets around them, 100,000 people pause in their daily tasks to shiver at a chill that isn't in the air. For it does not take a sensitive person to feel the undercurrent of building chaotic energy as Xanadu marshals his unholy power for a killing blow. Yet for a sensitive that is 1,000 times more intense, cold enough to reach into the grave itself, cold enough to shock a man whose brain has died yet whose body lives mindlessly on, with blood artificially pumping through its veins and air forced through its lungs. And it brings Doctor slowly, his eyes blaze with fires of life, driven by a force beyond our understanding. That's a good way for the writers to get around that. As the servant of order rises to challenge the Lord of Chaos, my God, up through the ground because he's down in the basement, blast the blast rips upward, irresistibly drawn through the rock and stone to its intended victim, arriving just as Xanadu's powers reaches a crescendo of chaos. And basically it cancels him out and blasts him all away. Cthulhu, and then they encase him in amber, which apparently is like how he started out in the first place. Get your 365 dates when you get the 1977 DC calendar. Some more neat ads. All right, and then here's a neat thing. Kind of like your epilogue, and they say, the latest adventure has convinced me to give up my membership in the JSA effective immediately. Friends, consider me retired, and I insist you elect Power Girl to full membership as my replacement. So that's how that happens and that thing, and then it gonna tomorrow. Yesterday begins today. Well, I thought yesterday began yesterday. Well, at least it doesn't begin tomorrow, because I don't know what I'll be doing tomorrow. But there you guys go. Oh, I wanted to show you back this thing here. It was pretty neat. So this comic came out in December of 1976. And you've seen this ad here for Super Friends and Welcome Back Kotter. And Welcome Back Kotter with the Sweat Hog strikes on August 5th. And then the new Super Friends starts August 26th. Since this is December of 1976, that would mean August of 1977. And I was born someday in between the 5th and the 26th. So how about that? That's pretty groovy. So there is your two comics. Okay, now which one was better? Psych, it doesn't matter, because not everything's a competition, man. All right, guys, 15 minutes almost. Have a good one. And until next time, I'll see you in the back issues.